My name is James Horncastle. I'm the Serie A expert on the Guardian Football YouTube channel. So let's get started wrapping up game week 2 when the Milan clubs combined for 12 goals for the first Sunday since February 1951. There was no Torres, but there was a party at the Ennio Tardini on Sunday night, for Milan fans at least, despite some comic defending that would have the likes of Costacurta, Maldini and Baresi all cringing, despite a red card, despite an own goal which provoked an injury to goalkeeper Diego Lopez when Milan had used all 3 substitutes. They still managed to beat Parma 5-4 in a thrilling game. Jeremy Menez was the man of the match, not only for the goal of the season candidate when he put the ball past Antonio Mirante and then backheeled it into the net, but also for winning and scoring a penalty like he did in the opening weekend against Lazio, and also for helping getting Felipe sent off. Owner Silvio Berlusconi gave him a call after the game to say well done, and why not? Milan haven't scored this many goals in their opening 2 fixtures since 1963. They haven't won their opening 2 fixtures for 8 years. Coincidentally, last time they did it, it was also when they started against Lazio and Parma. So Super Pippo, defending aside, getting off to a super start for Milan. History repeated itself when Inter met Sassuolo this weekend. Remember last year they beat them 7-0 at the Napoli Stadium. Well, they beat them 7-0 again at San Siro this Sunday. What was remarkable about this result was that all of the goal scorers from that rout last year weren't on the score sheet this time. That's because the likes of Milito, Cambiaso and Tyler aren't around. Palacios yet to really recover his fitness after the World Cup. So it was up to Marito Icardi, who scored a hat-trick, Mateo Kovacic, who also scored a hat-trick in the Europa League earlier this season, got his first Serie A goal for the club. Danny Osvaldo got his brace, and Freddie Guarin, who Inter had been trying to shift all summer, came back into the fold and got in on the act. Inter coach Walter Mazzarri had fallen down the stairs last week and broke his wrist. He said, look, if we continue to play like this and it brings us luck, I might as well break the other one. So instead of saying, go break a leg, maybe we should start saying, go break a wrist. Massimiliano Allegri received a lukewarm reception from the Juventus Stadium on his debut in the home dugout, but he did take an extra step towards winning over the Conte nostalgists in Turin. The champions put in another dominant display, this time against Udinese, beating them 2-0. Carlos Tevez broke the ice, and Juventus need him to do what he does for them in Serie A in the Champions League. I think he hasn't scored in that competition in almost 5 years. They play Malmo in midweek. Patrice Evra had an encouraging debut in Bianconero. Roberto Pereira did well against his old team Udinese, and Alvaro Morata came on and made a late impact for his new team. Many people don't think that much has changed under Allegri, that it's the same system as under Conte and that they're more or less the same personnel, but there are subtle differences. Juventus seem to have more possession, they play more passes, and they shoot on target more as well. When asked if they're transitioning towards a tiki-taka style of play, Claudio Marchisio, another of the goal scorers on Sunday night, said he wouldn't disagree with that. So it seems as though La Vecchia Signora is becoming more of a Spanish señorita. Il Ninja, Raja Nainggolan, was once again Roma's man of the match as they edged Empoli 1-0 at the Castellani. Before this game, coach Rudy Garcia said his head wasn't already in their first Champions League fixture, which is this week. He said, I don't even know who we're playing on Wednesday night. It's Ceska Moscow, Rudy. But his team selection did reflect that it was. He rested his first choice front 3 of Gervinho, Totti and Iturbe. It shows the strength and depth that Roma have, that they could play Destro, Laic and Florenzi instead. They found it difficult, however, against a courageous and brave Empoli team that played really quite well. But you know, in the past, Roma might have let their opponents back in games like this, particularly under Spalletti and under Ranieri. However, they ground out the result, and I think this is one of the conclusions that we can draw from Roma's opening 2 games, from which they've taken maximum points and a couple of clean sheets. You know, they won playing beautiful football on the opening weekend against Fiorentina. They won playing ugly against Empoli on Saturday. I think that is the mark of a potential title contender. Napoli continued to struggle. They blew and blew and blew, but they couldn't blow Chievo down on Sunday afternoon at San Paolo. They had 33 shots, all of which were blanks. Gonzalo Higuain saw a penalty superbly saved by Francesco Bardi. The Flying Donkeys then went up the other end of the pitch and scored the only goal of the game through Maxi Lopez to seal a surprise win
Owner Aurelio De Laurentiis was booed and whistled at the end of the game. He's accused of not putting his hand in his pocket and spending the money required before their Champions League playoff against Athletic Bilbao, which they then lost. Rafa Benitez has told the fans to stay united and not be divided by reports in the press of a break in relationship between him and De Laurentiis. But it does look like there's a malaise at Napoli and it's not going to lift anytime soon.
So those are my talking points after match day 2 in Serie A. Let me know what yours are in the comments below, particularly what you made of that Jeremy Menez goal and Pippo Inzaghi's Milan. If you haven't subscribed already to the Guardian Football YouTube channel, you can do so by clicking here. There are also roundups of Liga and La Liga by Julien Laurens and Andy Brassel. So why don't you check those out and check back with me later this week as we preview match day 3 in Serie A, and particularly that huge Milan-Juventus game. So why not join me then?